What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, we're going to be breaking down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the economic calendar and some very important levels to be watching for, and how the charts are looking thus far. Before I break anything down, though, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 6 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and putting in $25,000 or more guarantees you 70 free stocks plus 12 months of level 2 data. This offer ends in just 11 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on with the market. We have this orange trend line right over here acting as our support. You can kind of see how this is just like helping SPY hold up quite decently, and so far so good. The question is, as we're at this resistance, will we get some kind of rejection back down before we attempt to bounce, or are we about to come back down below our trend line of support? I'm going to be breaking down more information about this for today. So when it comes to our economic calendar, right over here, we just had initial jobless claims come out. This was aligning with expectations. Initial jobless claims were at 220,000, very close to the consensus of 222,000, and everything else was as expected. And this is why the market's bouncing so far. However, wholesale inventories is also coming out at 10 a.m. Watch to see if this causes somewhat of a move. At 11:30, we have the 4-week and the 8-week bill auctions. This may actually cause some volatility. Then we have consumer credit change at 3 p.m. We'll see what all these moves cause. But remember, guys, the biggest pieces of data have come out already. Everything else is just very minor. But watch for volatility, for more volatility at 11:30 a.m. and then 3 p.m. Besides that, when it comes to news affecting the markets, so far the S&P 500 are making attempts to hold up, but we've been seeing these like pumps and dumps over and over again. Oil has also slipped. If you look at this so far, we're continuing to see that happen. Wall Street is once again continuing to, you know, fight against new capital rules to Capitol Hill, and this is very important because the CEO Jamie, he was basically at the Senate Banking Committee, and they're once again continuing to do this. On top of this, we're seeing a new deal being landed by AbbVie. This is the second biggest deal we've seen, and agreed to buy another therapeutics company for about $8.7 billion. That's pretty much it for now. We'll be looking at the consumer data later on for today, but nothing too crazy really made the news. Today is kind of like another quiet day for data. Looking at SPY, this thing is attempting to push up higher, okay? I told you all yesterday that there is a chance the market could try to bounce. There's also a chance the market will break down. We did have a very weak daily close on SPY, but I just want to mention to everyone that I warned everyone that if you want to be really bearish, like really bearish, right? We need a follow through move, and we need to see us close below the orange trend line. To be bullish, you want to see it hold above the orange trend line, then you get to close above here, and then the market could bounce. Now, in my opinion, I wouldn't fully trust this move just yet. If anything, all it means is that SPY is going to likely gap up, and we will see if this gap ends up filling below and this thing starts dropping back down again. Because if you look at the last couple of days, if you look at like this day right here, which was on, I think this was Monday, we saw this thing gap up and then start coming back down, started to uptrend a little bit. On Tuesday, the market sort of like gapped up and then traded sideways. Yesterday, it gapped up and came back down. Today, it's gapping up again. Are we about to get a rejection back down, or are we about to bounce? Watch resistance right over here at 456.5. If we break that, we could be pushing for 457. And watch support at the orange trend line right here at 455. If we lose that, we turn bearish. As of right now, we're just going to be watching, but historically, SPY has been kind of like pushing up and then coming back down. So we're going to be watching to see if this leads to a big rejection or not, and watch and see where we close. It might actually pop a little higher and eventually, excuse me, reject and retest the orange trend line. There's a good chance it's going to pop and drop, but watch and see where we close. Do we close above the orange trend line? Do we close below it? That is going to be key. For Tesla stock, I just want to mention that Tesla is once again trying to hold up. I was talking yesterday about how there could be a test of this green trend line coming soon. I still think that, but for now, Tesla's trying to hold up. So the question is, will Tesla make an attempt to bounce? Is Tesla going to try to push up higher? If we break 242, there could be one more attempt to try to get up here to this level. We could be making the move to the upside a little bit early on, right? All the way up to this imbalance up here at 244. Or is Tesla going to kind of like pop and then reject? Because we have another gap forming on Tesla. There's a gap that's going to form down to 239. We might see Tesla pop a little bit more to 244 or so, then reject. And I think that it's still possible it comes back down to like 240 to 238 like this. And we'll have to see if this support holds from here. But if we're bearish on Tesla, you want to see this thing essentially just reject from right here. So you want to see Tesla basically come back down over the next couple of days and eventually lose the green trend line of support to turn bearish. As of right now, it looks like it might pop and drop, but we haven't broken the green trend line of support yet to turn really bearish, so we'll be watching that very carefully. All right, so it's the most likely possibility. I think Tesla might pop a little bit more, then drop down to fill its gap. And I won't turn really bearish on Tesla until we lose this green trend line. But there's a risk of that happening as we have a head and shoulders like structure developing. Just wanted to call that out, guys. The head and shoulders is still valid, so watch it very carefully. On the QQQ, this is also forming something very similar, making attempts to rebound. We're going to be watching to see, do we get a big rejection from where we currently are, or does the QQQ end up just continuing to break out and make its way back up to 388? We're going to be watching these levels very carefully. I just want to mention that on the triple Q, this thing is attempting to uptrend for now. It could get very close to this 388 zone. It's trying to push up a little higher, but don't forget, we have a giant gap forming. Okay, we closed down here at 385. We're gapping up like crazy. We might just like kind of pop and then drop back down. There's a good chance of something like that happening, and we might see it just return to this lower level. But to turn bearish, to be really bearish, you want to see it lose 383.5. If we lose that, it's going to start sinking back down. Haven't done that yet, but there could be a gap up and then a drop coming, and we'll see if support breaks. Watch resistance at 388. If that breaks, we could go up to 389 flat. We have 390. It might push up for 388, but we'll see if it rejects or not. We have a gap forming below, might pop and drop, come back down to fill the gap, but don't turn super bearish unless we lose 383.5. Watch 385 as support. If we lose that, there's a risk of a 383. If we lose the 383s, I would turn bearish. As of right now, a pop and drop seems very probable. Looking at Nvda, Nvda is attempting to rebound just a bit, but the thing about that is, once again, we're also gapping up. Look for it to re-enter this resistance right here around 459 to 460. If we get above 460, there could be an attempt to get up to 465. But if we fail to do so, it could reject and make its way down to fill this gap towards 453. So look for the little pump right over here towards 459 to 460. Could even go a little higher and then a rejection after that. This is where the previous resistance, previous support becoming resistance was. Look for a pump and drop, then a rejection and move right back down. So we'll be watching that very carefully. Also have these imbalances down here to be filling. I think it might pop a little bit and then reject, but just to be safe, let's see if it could hold 460. If it holds 460, I could change my view and turn a bit more bullish. But right now, I'm anticipating it's going to pop a little bit more. It might just fail and come back down. And now for Aapl. Aappl's holding up decently thus far, but don't forget, okay, we're still not in the clear. Aapl is still, once again, at resistance around this 193 area. If you want to be bullish, you want to see it try to continue to push up and hold above 193. Even though it's trying to hold up, we have a gap forming below at 192.29. It might pop a little bit more and then eventually reject and make its way back down to 192. If we close below 192, that's going to be a bearish signal. I think Apple's going to push a little bit more and eventually come back down. So watch that gap to fill and watch your levels very, very closely. Anyways, guys, I gave you guys what my predictions are. If you're bullish on Apple, you want to see it close above 193.5. If you're bearish, you want to see it lose 192. My prediction is it's going to like push a little bit more, then maybe come back down to fill this gap. But just to be safe, we'll see. And with that being said, thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again, and peace out.